Have you ever wondered what it really means when we take the absolute value of a number? Two numbers can be on opposite sides of zero, but be the same distance away. And that's exactly what absolute value measures. Today, we're going to be talking about absolute value. Instead of just memorizing rules, we're going to focus on what it actually means in life. So, absolute value tells us how far a number is away from zero, no matter which direction it is. The only thing we care about is how far it is away from zero. So let's look at a formal definition. Absolute value is the distance of a number from zero, ignoring whether it's positive or negative. And I know in the last video we went over positive and negative numbers, so I'm not really going to touch on that too much in this one. So, for an example, the absolute value symbol is 2 lines and it goes around the number. So this is saying the absolute value of 5 is 5. So we are 5 spaces away from 0. Now, the absolute value of negative 5 is, you guessed it, it's 5. Again, we're talking about distance from 0 versus if it's positive or negative. So now let's look at this on a number line. Okay, so looking at our number line, we have negative values and we also have positive values. But what we want to do here is look at the absolute value. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is 5 points away from 0. Now if we look at the other end, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's still 5 points in either direction of looking at the number line. See how both numbers are the same distance from 0? When we're dealing with absolute value, we ignore direction and focus only on the distance. Now looking at the thermostat, we have an array of values. So if we look at above 0 to go to 7 degrees, and we look at below 0 to go to -7, we see that the absolute value measures how far the temperature is from 0. So we know that if we take the absolute value of -7, we will have 7, because we're just focusing on the distance of the value. How far are we from 0? That is our main goal when it comes to absolute value. Now, we can also look at this and another example by using elevation. So looking at this example, we have sea level. So sea level here is 0. Now, looking at this, we have a mountain and then a mountain here, and then we have a valley. So with this, the mountain is 2 above sea level, whereas in the opposite direction, we have -2 below sea level. Now with this, it doesn't matter if it's above or below, but how far it is from sea level. And right now, with this example, we're both 2 away from sea level. So, going back to our previous example, looking at the number line, just to reiterate, absolute value helps us measure how far, not which way. So we just care about the points or the spaces away from 0. We don't care about the direction. It's used in real life whenever we care about size or distance rather than directions. For an example, like scores in games like football or soccer, temperature changes like the weather, and elevation differences. So now, remember, I know I said it 1,000 times already in this video, but when it comes to absolute value, we only care about distance from 0. Positive or negative does not matter. So in that case, let's do a couple quick examples. The absolute value of -3 is 3. The absolute value of 1,000 is 1,000. Ooh. Had 3 in my mind. And the absolute value of positive, let's say 50, is 50. When you understand absolute value, numbers start to make more sense in life. You'll see it everywhere in money, games, and temperature. Either way, when you come across a number, and just know that it's possibly an absolute value. In the next episode, we're going to explore comparing numbers, building on what we learned about positive and negative and absolute numbers thus far. Real quick, what's the absolute value of -12? Comment below and let me know what your thoughts are. And also, let me know what you think of this video. All right, stay tuned.